Shall we start? You want to test the mic as well? So we will make a start, and I will start with the general housekeeping, just so that we can test the microphone and also, of course, make sure that we're all safe. As you come in, the same way you will need to come out if you hear a fire alarm, because we're not expecting one. And the assembly point will be at the car park. As you come in through your entrance, then there is a gents and there is a ladies' room, bathroom as well on the right, and the gents' bathroom on the left. We are going to live stream this presentation. So if you do not want your face to be shown in the camera, then do not look into the camera. You're going to be filmed from your backs anyway. And is there anything else that I need to mention? You can obviously enjoy any drinks that you want. We've got tea, we've got juice, we've got water. And yes, I think we're ready to make a start. Thank you so much for coming. Welcome to the presentation titled Your First Line of Defense Against Disease and Nature's First Aid. I'm going to show you how we can strengthen our immune system at this time of the year. As more people are getting colds and flus, what should we do throughout the year so that we would avoid so we would not catch colds and flus as often as we do, and that we would protect our body and strengthen it throughout the year so we are not as prone to disease as usually we are. And I will show you two natural remedies to help you during the time when you actually do catch a cold, how to cope with that time. We will go for about an hour of the presentation and a demonstration, and then afterwards we'll have time to have delicious soup, vegetable soup, with homemade bread rolls. And the first thing I would like to mention, as always, in the previous presentation I have mentioned as well, is the tips for the long-term change. Thank you for coming. Please take your seats and enjoy the presentation. As you will hear a lot of different advice throughout the presentation, there will be a lot of tips you might not have heard before. I don't want you to feel overwhelmed by the amount of information you're going to hear. You don't have to make all changes at once. In fact, it's impossible because we have a very limited willpower, and the more sustainable approach would be to build habits over time, adding one habit after another habit after another habit, and possibly pairing them with the things you already do. For example, when you're brushing your teeth, you pair it with flossing your teeth. That way you combine two habits at one go. And same way you can find ways how maybe after your morning routine, you exercise afterwards. So building on small things or making a habit itself smaller. For example, if you've never drank water in the morning before, you start with a glass of water and then increase it to a glass and a half, and then increase it to 2 glasses of water. We have discussed the importance of drinking water in a previous presentation, which you can watch being recorded online, and I can share the link with you. And then we need to focus on the positive habits instead of negative ones. For example, instead of cutting out certain things out of the diet, you might want to crowd them out with the healthy stuff. By eating more, for example, fruit, instead of saying, I want to cut out sugar, just say, maybe try to eat more fruit as much as possible. That's how you, it's better to give a positive spin on things because we don't want to make our brain feel like we're depriving it of something. And then the 90-10 rule is, as you know, life happens, and then something doesn't go according to the plan, or we go on a holiday, we want to just relax and give ourselves a bit of a slack. So 90% we adhere to the healthy lifestyle, and then 10% of the time we give ourselves room for error, room for enjoyment. Maybe you go to a party, a birthday cake, and things like this. So 90% we follow the rules, and then 10% we, don't worry, please come on in, take a seat, and if you want, have a drink, no worries. And then 10% of the time, we can't be perfect all the time, truth be told. And if you want to learn more of the tips on how to have long-term habit change, then you can watch my video. I have a YouTube channel called Essentialist Alina, and there you will find a video titled Why You Can't Stick to Your Health Goals plus How to Fix It, 14 strategies. I have a question for you. This is now, we're going into the presentation. This was just a preliminary details, basically trying to not overwhelm you, trying to tell you that you don't have to do everything at once because you will hear a lot of information. The question for you as an icebreaker, why do you think colds and flu are more common in winter? Yes, please.
You're indoors more.
Mm-hmm.
Closed off.
Yes? Okay.
You're not out in the fresh air.
So, yeah, I will repeat for the...
Closed in.
I will repeat it for the audience because we are watched live as well. So for those who came late, if you don't want to be on the camera, just don't turn your face to the camera, which is right in front of me. I will repeat for the audience. Christine said that we are indoors a lot more with close proximity to each other, and that's why some people think that's why we are getting more cold and flu, but that's not the case, actually. Anyone else?
Is it that the colds flourish more in the cold for some reason rather than the heat?
Okay, so the cold or the virus and the bacteria might flourish more.
Sounds counterintuitive.
We'll see. Wilson and then Pasta.
So, if there's no sunshine but there's heat, I still don't see people with cold. So, I think the temperature's got something to do with it. That's number one. Number two, also, partially, the light from the sun kills some bacteria, or some germs, rather. And that's what
Thank you, Wilson. So he mentioned that this, the temperature drop has something to do with it, and maybe the lack of sunlight. Brother Daniel?
Say that probably we eat less fresh food.
Okay.
But in an area at least where there is not so much fresh food, not so much fruits and vegetables, in areas where there are really cold winters and they don't have good shopping centers where they can buy anything, it used to be a problem.
Yeah.
To survive the winter and the early spring when there is no fresh food.
So not enough fresh food available in winter. That could be one of the reasons. Pastor Roman?
Yeah, so we always have a new theory each time we get ill, like why
Yeah.
did we get ill this time?
Yeah.
But this time we have a new theory. So we went to Czech Republic for Christmas. We were not ill, snow, -10,
Yeah.
running outside, doing all sorts of things.
Yeah.
Healthy. Came back in, even on the way here, we just came in, this kind of not cold, not hot temperature and this wet kind of weather. We all got ill within a week.
That's
So
so
it was
interesting.
just a new theory. That's why my wife's theory is we should go back to Czech Republic.
I see. The new theory is the UK makes you sick. Okay. So yeah, there is actually some science behind, traveling and also the change of time zones and like not having enough, sleep or something like that could be.
It was the cold.
Yeah, even
It's so cold out.
It was
that
cold,
it
yeah.
kills off some of the
viruses,
right?
okay.
They are not as active. Whereas this kind of, 6, 7, 8, 10 degrees temperature is kind of keeping them in that, alive.
more, cozy.
That's the theory.
They feel cozy in that temperature. Mark and then Wilson.
Possibly due to lack of vitamin D during the winter.
Yeah, good theory. Wilson, and then I will carry on.
During COVID, it was studied that those people who were by the window had a higher survival rate than those who were inside the ward.
So they were where? By
Those who were at the bedside by the window in hospitals had a higher survival rate than those who were inward in the ward. So there's something to do with light.
light. Okay.
And the penetration of infrared into our bodies.
Yeah.
And the times of darkness.
Yeah.
It's darker, it's more darker during the winter than it is during the summer. So the shorter days, that means there's less time for our bodies to absorb near infrared or far infrared, which comes in at any point during the day, by the way. It doesn't need to be somewhere here.
Okay, thank you so much. I don't know if the mic was able to pick up. Mark, can you tell me? Shall I repeat this? Okay. So in the studies during COVID time, it was shown that people whose bedside was by the window had less, what was it? More survival rates than those whose bed was away from the window. So there must be something to do with the sunlight. And I must say that you guys are quite knowledgeable about stuff. So a lot of these things actually have truth in them. And it's true that the temperature drop actually has a lot to do with people getting more sick during winter times. The temperature drops in our noses, and I'll show you the study that was done. But obviously, it's not the defining factor because our body has an immune system that is able to fight off the infections without even seemingly having any symptoms show up. And definitely the sunlight, because vitamin D is very important for our immune system function. So we will look at this recent study in 2023. This is just, I want to show you how amazing our body is and that we have got the ways to fight bacteria and viruses even in our nose. So as you can see, as soon as the virus or bacteria come in through the nose, let me just see if I can. Here you go. They come in through the nose, and the cells of the nose, so the epithelial cells of the nose, they release these tiny bubbles, obviously 1,000 times less than a grain of sand in size. And they surround the bacteria, attack it, and they send messages to other cells to tell them that we've got an invader coming in, so they have to prepare for the battle. When there is a virus coming in, they've got a different system. They act as decoys, meaning they distract them and pretend to be not what they are, and they have these receptor sites to which the virus attaches themselves, thinking that it might be a healthy cell or something, and then they destroy it afterwards. So as you can see, in ambient temperature, there are a lot of these tiny bubbles released that capture them. But when we are exposed to cold, they found that there is a 40% drop in the release of these tiny bubbles. So the colder temperature indeed has something to do with it, but as we go down, we've also got our immune system that starts to act on the viruses and bacteria. So even if they have missed something, if our immune system is strong enough, it will be able to fight off this infection. Yes?
So is it because there's less blood on the extremities that maybe those are not?
It's possible that, yeah, the study hasn't actually gone that far, but this is, they said that there might be something that they can invent, like a nasal spray or something, to help increase the amount of these tiny bubbles that are released during winter. So, of course, a lot of things, I'm sure, will affect the production of these tiny bubbles, which are called extracellular vesicles, if you are interested. I'm sure we will find that there are more things that affect the production of them than just, than just the colder temperatures. Let's look at the importance of having a healthy microbiome and the immune system function, and what different functions that they have. So our immune system is a defense system. It's comprising of cells and the tissue in the body, and as you know, they are traveling through the bloodstream and trying to detect whenever there is a pathogen coming in. And they protect us from harmful bacteria, viruses, toxins, and even cancer cells. The microbes, this is the recent, the last several decades, there has been research around what microbiome does to help the immune system. And actually, it plays a very big role in training and guiding the immune system so that it will not overreact when it shouldn't, and also to calm it down when it should calm down.
Sorry,
yes?
What's a microbiome?
Good question. I should have explained. The microbiome is a collective term for the 300 or so trillion bacteria that live in our body. So this is 3 times more cells than we have in our body. That's how many bacteria we have. We've got the good and the bad, and we should try to make sure that we've got more good than the bad. And we will explain why in just a minute. They are located in various places, not only in the gut. Yes, majority is in the gut, but there's also, women have got them in other places, so we've got them all over, in other places of the body, not just the gut. Then they act as a physical barrier. So imagine you've got a garden, and it's overgrown with weeds. Yes, so in that scenario, you cannot have a lot of good plants growing in. Unless you take out all of the weeds, you plant the new garden with the good, useful plants, and then very few weeds can grow. Because once the good plants overtake, then there's very little room for the weeds to grow. In the same way, when you've got a lot of good bacteria, then they crowd out the bad guys. And of course, the opposite happens when the good bacteria diminishes, then the bad guys take over. So they act as a physical barrier. They also send messages to immune cells, so they communicate with the immune cells, and that way they maintain a good, healthy response to the foreign invaders. And if we don't have enough of the good bacteria, then the immune system might start attacking its own body, the healthy cells. It also might start attacking the food particles in the body. And the microbiome helps with nutrient absorption. So if you don't have a good microbiome, then you might have vitamin and mineral deficiency. So this is the relationship between them. The microbiome trains and guides the immune system, and the immune system is our security and defense system. So what do we do to keep our microbiome healthy? Because essentially it's one of the most important things to make sure that our immune system is healthy. And that is to feed them. What do we need to feed them is fiber-rich foods. And what are the fiber-rich foods? It's the fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, legumes, and I have included seaweed. The reason I included seaweed is that I realized that not many of us get enough iodine. And we can just put it in a different category, because when you say vegetable, nobody thinks seaweed. So I think that it's important. It's also high in fiber, and it helps to it helps us to get enough iodine, because a lot of the vegetables that are grown are not grown near the sea. That's how they would get more iodine. But they're not grown near the sea, so we're not getting enough iodine in our diet. The other important factor with fiber foods is that if we do not move efficiently here, then we will start getting intoxication. So, and the intoxication will also create this mucosal response. By the way, I didn't mention, but when I showed you the picture about the nose, these tiny bubbles are released into the mucus, and that's why we have this, runny nose, and we cough it out during this flu and cold season, is because our body produces the mucus to help. It releases these tiny bubbles into the mucus to help get rid of them. That's why you are releasing this fluid. And the same happens when your body starts to create toxins, or something happens and there is a toxicity in the body. The same thing. It's almost like a protective factor as well, to protect other cells from being damaged, that the mucus is being released. And you will find that you might have even sinus congestion when you are not moving properly, because you are constipated, and that in return also increases the toxic overload in the body. So that's why it's very important to have a fiber-rich diet. Fiber helps to stimulate the peristalsis in the colon, and it helps to give bulk to the stool, and it also absorbs water to help it move effectively through the system. Then we need the food to be nutrient dense, so that we can feed our body. The immune system needs a lot of nutrition, iron, zinc, and other minerals. So we need to eat as fresh as possible. Of course, picked up right from your garden is the best, but how many of us can afford to have a garden, right? So we take the food from the supermarket, but we try to eat the freshest that we can get in the supermarket, not the ones that have, gone past their, yeah, the past there. Yeah, sell by date or, yeah, fresh look. And then frozen is not really the second best. Frozen is actually one of the good options because they freeze vegetables at their peak ripeness. And the nutrients are preserved well in the frozen state. And then fermented. Just a fact, when the cabbage is not fermented, in 100 grams of cabbage, it contains 70 micrograms of vitamin C. But when it gets fermented, that amount of vitamin C goes 10 times more. So 700 micrograms. Because the bacteria that are fermenting are actually creating more vitamin C. So fermented foods are very good for you. And I am doing a workshop in April and May on fermentation. Sauerkraut and kimchi is what we're going to be making. If anyone wants to wants to sign up, please do. Yes, please.
Does it matter if I buy it in a shop or if I do it myself?
That's a good question. Right. So only if it says raw, unpasteurized, then it is still viable. It's still got living microorganisms. Because a lot of the, for example, in the Polish shops, they sell sauerkraut, but it's been pasteurized. It's just for flavor, it's just part of the culture. It's not for gut health. But it's still got fiber. It's still got fiber. It just will not have any living microorganisms because it's been heated. But the ones that say raw, they're very expensive, guys. It's so easy to learn how to make sauerkraut or kimchi, and it's so much more cheaper. And there are other fermented foods, not just this. There is, in Japan, I believe, they have natto. It's like fermented soybean product, or tempeh. I'm sure other cultures have got their versions of fermented foods, but these are the ones that appeal to me. Sauerkraut, you find it in the Eastern Europe, especially Germany. That's where the word sauerkraut comes from. Sauer and kraut, meaning sour cabbage, essentially. And then kimchi would be the Korean or the Asian side of the world. They are all very delicious. I am actually, I shouldn't say addicted, but I am a little bit addicted to kimchi. I cannot read. This is for the people who are watching us, I believe. If you want to ask questions, please do.
No, this is for you.
Oh, for me. Oh, sorry.
To repeat the question.
Oh, to repeat the question that people ask.
My question will not come up.
Yeah, okay, will do. I will repeat the questions that you ask. If I don't, please remind me. Then to capture the nutrition that we have in the food, it's also important to know how to prepare it. A lot of times we prepare food in the way that we are losing nutrition. For example, when we are peeling vegetables, discarding the peel, cooking the vegetable, and then a lot of that nutrition is in the peel. We don't have to peel everything. For example, maybe you can name, I would ask you to name certain foods that don't have to be peeled and can be eaten. Potatoes, sweet potatoes, correct. Mango, yeah? You can eat the peel of the mango. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
And kiwi.
Kiwi, yes, kiwi.
Eat that whole
Yeah,
as well.
yeah. Well, my dad likes to eat mandarin peels. Yeah. Yes, mentioned already. Anything else?
Some people eat bananas.
Carrots. Carrots. You don't have to peel carrots. Apples, of course, yes. No need to peel.
I just wanted to ask a question. Why do you have the winter more cooked and summer more raw?
Oh, we will talk about that. Yeah,
okay.
Don't worry, don't worry. It's notes for me as well. It's not to forget. Anyone else? Anything else that we don't have to peel?
Lemon peel.
Lemon peels, yeah. We can use a lemon peel for baking. We can use lemon peel for, I like to do what I squeeze the lemon juice and use it in salads, but then the peel, I keep it and I cut it and I freeze it and I put it in my water. So this one has got the peel and it flavors it without giving it the sour taste. If you don't like your water sour, then I do that. And also I don't have to throw it away. But I would warn you against using normal lemons. Normal lemons, it has to be organic. Why? Because they put chemicals on them to prevent them from molding quick. So these mold faster. So you have to, sometimes what I do is just take them all, squeeze the lemon juice, and freeze it in ice cubes, and use the lemon peel to also freeze it, so that I don't end up throwing a lot of them away. Yeah, so if you go shopping next time, when you pick up the bunch of lemons, just check the slip that's on them. Yeah, I've learned it from an Instagram reel. Somebody went to the shop and I'm like, I don't believe you. I went there and I checked and there were these chemical names that I couldn't pronounce and they say treated with on top. And I was like, no, I'm not gonna eat the peel because it's got chemicals. Yeah, the wax, yeah. So this one is organic. And by the way, I was surprised to find that Lidl started putting organic lemons. I was like, wow. Usually I get from Tesco. Or if you're not, if you don't get the organic one, just don't use the peel. Yeah, just use the juice. And so, yeah, we've discussed the things that we don't need to peel. For example, potato, I just put it as it is, as long as it's washed in the soup, or you can have them as wedges. Yes, I've eaten mango with the peel. Yes, you can have kiwi with the peel, and ginger, you don't have to peel it either. Yes, you can just use it as it is. As long as you wash it and, of course, remove any bits that have got any mold on them. You don't want that. Yeah, I think we've covered a lot of them that don't have to be peeled. Sweet potatoes, even butternut squash. As long as it's roasted well, it will be quite soft. Yeah, you can eat it. A lot of nutrition is in the peel. Please do not boil your vegetables in water and then discard the water. So it's better for you to discard the vegetables and drink the water. Of course, we're not talking about, if it's a soup, that's fine because you're having both. But if it's a vegetable, I recommend just putting, if you don't have a steaming basket, you don't need that. You just need to put a little bit of water on the bottom of the pan with the vegetables on top, or just I put broccoli, then sprinkle some water on top, put the lid on. As long as the water doesn't run out and the veggies start browning at the bottom, you're fine. So just keep an eye on it. Yeah, in a few minutes gone and they're done. You're saving water. You don't use as much electricity because you're not boiling the whole pot just to steam a few broccoli florets. So that's a kind of a quick tip for that. So because all of the nutrition, especially those that are water soluble, are going to go into the water, and then you are throwing away the most precious thing that you have, the reason why we are eating them, right? So the next one is the winter and summer thing. It's not really about nutrition as much as about just what to eat, what's best to eat, or how to best eat your food in winter versus summer. Because in winter, of course, a lot of us want warmer foods. We don't want to eat raw salads all the time. So you will crave more cooked. We don't want to cool down our system when it's cold outside. We want to warm it up. So more cooked, but still some raw. But in summertime, we crave more fresh foods, of course. More fruits, watermelon, melons, and cucumbers, and tomatoes. And in that case, we eat more raw. We need to eat more raw and less cooked, because who wants to heat up their system when it's hot outside? Like it's like heating up the house when it's already, hot. So the same thing we do when sometimes we eat maybe cooked food, a lot of cooked food during summer. And please don't think that if you're cooking food, you're destroying a lot of nutrients. Actually, some nutrients are becoming more available to us. There is a whole raw food movement, and I've made a lot of research on that in my early years of researching into health. It's actually not necessary to eat all food raw to get the nutrients. You do get some from raw foods, and that's why we do combine them. We don't eat only cooked, we don't eat only raw, because cooking also makes some of the foods, some of the nutrients more available. For example, like in tomatoes. Oh, that's strange. That's very strange. I don't know why. It's the projector.
So you can still read it.
But it's not moving what I'm showing. If you can, please do restart it, because what I'm going to show you is quite beautiful.
If you can just unplug it
Yep.
and plug it again. It didn't even move.
It didn't even move, yeah.
Stop.
So could it be something to do with the projector? But anyways, I will show you the picture. Well, actually, we'll do it this way. Can you see? Can you see it?
Put it on this table.
Yeah. While we're trying to fix it, I will unplug this one. Yeah. So when I said about eating enough fiber, I also need to mention that fiber is not just one thing. There are different types of fiber. And if we eat the same foods over and over again, then we are feeding only one type of bacteria or microbes in our gut that eat that particular fiber. Don't get distracted, don't get distracted. So when we eat one type of fiber, we are feeding one type of bacteria. For us to get the health that we need, or to feed our immune system, to feed the microbiome, we need variety. So we should eat different types of fruits and vegetables every week, preferably from 20 to 30 types. So you've seen on this picture, this is about 30-something different, not fruits and vegetables, I meant plant foods, fiber-rich foods a week. 20 to 30 fiber-rich foods a week. For example, you get different fiber in oats called beta-glucans. You get different fiber in apples. You've got pectin in apples or pears. You've got soluble fiber, you've got insoluble fiber. There was another type, which I forgot the name of. So you need variety in order to feed your microbiome so that it's more diverse. Try to switch things around. And you can see from the picture that there's a lot of different fruits and veggies, and 20 to 30 is not that hard to get. If you think about a salad, you can have, say, iceberg lettuce, spinach, carrots, tomato, cucumber, olives, if you add other spices, spices also count. So you can easily get nuts or seeds, yeah. Except for salt. Salt doesn't count, or pepper doesn't count, but other things count. Tomatoes, yeah, everything that's got fiber, it all counts. So it's not that hard to get them. Right, the refined grain. So this is the section where I talk about how to starve your microbiome, essentially. If you are consistently eating these foods, refined carbohydrates, foods with added sugars, or ultra-processed foods, then you are eventually going to starve your microbiome, and you're going to feed the bad bacteria, which are going to create a lot of toxicity in the body, because they do, as a waste product, they create toxins and lead to a lot of different diseases, including cancer. So we want to minimize these refined foods. Maybe we could put the computer closer to, maybe on the table. No?
How good is your battery?
The battery, I have been charging it. Yeah, it will. It will. Yeah. We'll put it there so people can at least see what I'm. It also for me to see what I'm presenting. But I remember the slides. So, the refined foods that we should try to minimize: white bread, white pasta, white rice, things like crackers, biscuits, cookies, all of the nice things that people say, right? But these contain very little fiber. A lot of times they contain a lot of sugar added to them. So these should not form part of our everyday diet. Yes? Ryvita, yeah, it's the rye crackers, right? Yeah, so they've got rye as a whole wheat rye in it, yes, so it's not refined. Yeah, they are much better for you than white bread, 100%. And then you've got refined sugar, added sugars, so things like, of course, we mentioned the biscuits, the cakes, but also unexpected things like baked beans have got sugar in them. Of course, jams and preserves, look at the packaging, it says like 50% of it is sugar. Well, fizzy drinks, maybe even healthy, some breakfast cereals that position themselves as healthy actually have got a lot of added sugar. Or things like breakfast biscuits, they look like they're a healthy choice, but they're not. So these things we need to minimize. And ultra-processed foods. Ultra-processed foods is the foods that contain a lot of ingredients, and a lot of them you cannot even pronounce. Things that you wouldn't have in your kitchen, things that look like they're coming from a chemical industry than from a food industry. But that's what it is. The chemical industry came together with the food industry. They formed the alliance, and now we have these ultra-processed foods. And I don't want you to confuse ultra-processed foods with just regularly processed foods, because we process food in the kitchen all the time. You're chopping something, you are processing it, essentially. You've blended something, you're processing it. So there are minimally processed foods that you can make in the kitchen, but you cannot make ultra-processed foods in the kitchen, or you wouldn't even. And these contain a lot of different ingredients that you can't pronounce. And these include things like packaged foods, ready-made meals. but not just regular ready-made meals. If you look at it and you know that, oh, you could easily have made it yourself, it's probably not ultra-processed. But things that come a lot of times in like these sachets, like mac and cheese in a sachet, you know, you just need to add water. This probably does contain a lot of these chemicals. Instant noodles, things that are seasoned with, like crisps that are seasoned with different flavors. So they do contain all of these ingredients. Let me see if there's anything I have missed. Oh, the processed meat and cheese slices and margarine. These, not only the processed meat, but also the processed meat replacements, like the vegan meat, we should also minimize because they are all made with, well, a lot of them are made with these chemicals. So let's go further. This is the look of the, you know, the ultra-processed ingredients that we should minimize, right? And not make it part of our everyday diet, if at all. And a lot of times you will find that they have to add color to them because actually these things are not very colorful. They're more like beige type of foods. And the natural one, you've seen the picture, so much natural colors, but they have to add a lot of colors to make this food that they have created look nice. So other things, and the ingredients that are in the processed foods, so ultra-processed foods would be sounding like flavorings or emulsifiers and I don't know, maybe sodium benzoate and potassium sorbate and acesulfame K or aspartame. These are like the sweeteners that they add in those in the drinks. These are all unnatural. And I cannot remember and I cannot read from behind, but I'm going to just go to the other causes of microbiome disruption. And these are things like alcohol, antibiotics, some drugs, and stress. These are all very harmful for the good bacteria. Smoking, thank you. Wow, you've got a really good eyesight. Yes, thank you. Maybe, but then I will still need to kind of lean over. Can camera capture everything? So alcohol does affect the gut lining. It can decrease the mucosal lining, which is a protective lining in the gut over time. So excessive alcohol consumption. Antibiotics, they act as a bomb on our system. They destroy everything, the good and the bad, without discernment. And they are lifesavers in terms of that they should be used as a life-saving drug, not as an ad hoc drug. We should really not use them if it's not a life and death situation, because overuse of antibiotics has caused the resistant bacteria, the antibiotic-resistant bacteria to start, it created antibiotic-resistant bacteria. And because also people who consume meat are more likely to be also resistant to the use of antibiotics because animals are being fed antibiotics in large doses, and people consuming a lot of meat can also become antibiotic resistant, which can create a very dangerous situation in a hospital setting when you're trying to save somebody's life and they're not responding to antibiotics. They have to be used very judiciously so that when it is a life and death situation, it will actually work. And some drugs can also affect the gut lining. and wear it down. And smoking also does that. Also, smoking, of course, affects the immune system in that it creates the free radicals in the body. And free radicals are things that are trying to rob your cells of their extra ions. So this is where antioxidants from the food come in, because antioxidants have got an extra ion to give them to stop them from robbing that extra ion from the other cells. So we've mentioned, we saw all of these foods that nature, God has given us in plants. These are very high in antioxidants. And they are much higher in antioxidants than the meat, the meat products are. And then the stress. And we will talk about the stress in the next few slides, because the stress also affects how prone we are going to be against infectious diseases. But before we go into this is still part of the presentation. This is where I want to show you the 2 healthy remedies. Remember, we talked about the runny nose or the mucosal, development in our bodies, and sometimes it's very hard to get it out because it's very thick. So we've got onion syrup that helps to break down the mucus. When you chop an onion, you start, your nose starts running, your eyes start, running as well. This is the property of the onion, to break down the mucus. It helps, when you've got a cough, and the flu, and we've got a flu bomb as well. So instead of antibiotics, maybe you can try a flu bomb with very potent ingredients. So let me come over the table and show you how to make an onion syrup. You will be able to, if you watch the presentation again, you will be able to see the recipe, or you can take a picture later on, or I can send you the recipe. But for onion syrup, you don't really need a recipe, because it's just a chopped up onion, and we need a healthy sweetener. We don't want to feed bad bacteria. So I'm going to use maple syrup for this one, but you can use honey, preferably raw honey, because the store-bought honey, if it doesn't say raw, a lot of times it's been pasteurized. That means it doesn't have the antiviral or antimicrobial properties. So the raw honey does have antiviral, antimicrobial properties, which is exactly what we want. But, whatever sweetener, as long as, try to find something healthy, like coconut sugar. If you've never seen coconut sugar, where the tea is, there's a jar with coconut sugar. It doesn't smell like coconut at all, because it's made from the coconut palm tree, sap of the coconut palm tree, and it's got almost like a caramelly, even like a coffee flavor to it. You can use date syrup, you can use coconut nectar, you can use jaggery, or it's also known as rapadura, or it's known as sucanat. These have got minerals in them, so they are not as harmful, or they are, I would say, on a healthier side than the white sugar or the brown sugar are. So what we do is we just take some onion and just put it on the bottom of the jar. So we essentially want for the onion to release its juices over time. And we give it overnight, but it starts releasing juices within an hour or so. You add 1 teaspoon of a sweetener. So it's almost tastes like a cough syrup, but You just add it on top of one layer. Then you add another layer. And I know you might ask me, why can't I just eat? You can actually, after it's done and you strain it, you can use the onion and just fry it. It will have like a sweet flavor as well, sweet taste. And why can't you just mix the sweetener with onion? Just put it in. Why do you have to layer it? I think you have to do it so you know how much sweetener you need to add. Otherwise, you might waste a lot of sweetener. So we kind of add a layer and then add a teaspoon over it. Add a layer, add a teaspoon. And I'm choosing maple syrup here just because it's easier than honey. Honey is more viscous, but if, you know, of course, honey would be actually maybe even better here because it's got good properties against the bacteria and viruses. And then you do this until you used up your onion or until there's no more space in the jar. And then you take 1 teaspoon of the syrup that comes out. So it will be basically maple syrup mixed with the juice of an onion. And you take 1 teaspoon as an adult 3 times a day. And for kids, there is a smaller dose. I'm not sure what it is. I can't see from here. It's for children, it's half a teaspoon 3 times a day. And for toddler, it's 1/4 teaspoon 3 times a day. And then when you strain it, put it in a fridge. It's very delicious, actually.
We'll wait for an hour. Then you say 1 hour.
So in an hour, it's gonna really start releasing juice, but then it will finish the process overnight, approximately overnight, and you will be able to even see the liquid. There is already some, but it's probably just maple syrup. What did I want to say? That you don't have to strain it, actually. You can just lean it and put it on a teaspoon like this, but then you might get an odd piece of onion that slips on the teaspoon. So I sometimes just strain it if it's a big jar, and then keep an onion in the fridge, fry it later on, and then use the syrup.
Do
Yes.
you have to use a syrup? Could you use warm water, hot water, and releases the onion and then just drink it?
Well, I haven't tried it that way. And hot water, I'm not sure. Try it.
I was thinking hot water would release it a lot better.
It will not be a syrup, though. It will be an onion soup, maybe. Who was first? Sister over there.
I was just going to ask, does it matter which onions? So can you use...
No, it doesn't matter, yeah. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
And what if somebody just, we used to eat potato with onion. And
Potato with onion?
I eat that amount of onion easily.
Oh, perfect. If you can eat it, but not many people can eat. I'm sure it will. Yes. If you want to eat onion. But I know for sure that a lot of people will be... yes. A lot of people say you're on your own. So this is a way how you can make kids, take medicine because it's sweet. It's nice. I remember taking something like this as a child. I didn't ask my mom specifically, but I remember the taste of it. So I was excited. I was excited about anything that tasted sweet. Anyone else? So this is the onion syrup. And the next recipe is for the flu bomb. For the flu bomb, we will... Bomb. Yeah, almost like an atomic bomb, but we want to kill, the flu virus. Instead of the antibiotic that is true atomic bomb for your system, let's make the flu bomb. You will need 1 or 2 cloves of garlic. That depends on whether you like garlic. If you like garlic, you can have 2 if you don't mind the strength of it. If you are not a fan, then 1 would be fine. So you will just grate it. I have this handy microplane grater. And of course, you can finely chop it as well. My hands are gonna smell divine after that.
It might improve my smell even now.
Yeah?
Because after COVID, my smell...
Garlic goes in. Then we need a 1/4 teaspoon of ginger, but I can't really measure 1/4 teaspoon like that. Just checking if there are any bits that I don't like. So I just grate it until I see it looks like a 1/4 teaspoon, because both garlic and ginger are quite potent. And when you get this flu shot, well, what you will have to do is, either just go straight down or you chew it in your mouth and then you swallow. It depends on whether you...
I don't know, there's always this thing now about turmeric, isn't there?
Turmeric, yes. Actually, it's not part of this flu bomb, but I would add it, yeah. If you have turmeric, definitely add it. I think it should be part of this concoction, as they call it. It's very potent, but probably the raw, if you had the raw one, it would immediately stain your hands. So maybe just a powdered one, definitely, yeah. Great. Yeah, so I've got some. Probably a 1/4 teaspoon, definitely, maybe even more. No wonder it was burning me last time. So 1/4 teaspoon of ginger, then a juice of 1/2 lemon, or if you prefer more lemon, please do. This one is big enough, so I'll just use 1/2. And then I'm using this raw honey. This is probably the cheapest that I can find. If you buy in small jars, you will pay more. Of course, the smaller jars cost more. And this one I bought on Amazon. And this one is £15 a jar. Usually you get like these small ones, and they already cost like £6 for the raw honey. So, 1/2 a lemon, then raw honey, 1 teaspoon. Oh, don't like using dirty spoon, but we'll just, it's got maple syrup, and this is what's gonna make it more palatable as well. Not only the good properties, but you will be able to drink it. And then the drop of a tea tree oil. Just one drop. That's it. And it's also antifungal and antibacterial. And cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper, if you can tolerate it, you can go up to half a teaspoon, which seems like a lot. If you don't tolerate it well, it's gonna give it a lot of warmth. A pinch, a quarter teaspoon or half a teaspoon, you go from that range. Start with a pinch. Everything is hot in this concoction. But it stimulates paprika. No, paprika is not gonna do it. Maybe chili pepper, but I would prefer cayenne because cayenne does not actually irritate your stomach. Cayenne pepper increases the blood flow, which is something very important we're gonna discuss. Hopefully we have time. The blood flow. Increasing the blood flow is very important when dealing with, when trying to make the immune system work effectively. I think that's it. And half a cup of water. So, and then you have this concoction, and then you pour half a cup of hot water over it. So it actually helps to bring up the potency or effectiveness of this in your system. And then you take it with your meals or 2 hours, let's say, after a meal, if you don't like it, together with a meal. Because we discussed that we shouldn't really mix, drinks with food. But I guess sometimes, because there are ingredients that actually help increase the acidity of the stomach, like cayenne and lemon, so that shouldn't hurt you. So that's a concoction made, and if you want, by the way, you take them if you've got a flu or if you feel like flu-like symptoms, 4 times a day. So you might want in morning to make 4 jars or 4 cups of this mixture and then pour hot water just before you need it. So that's the flu bomb. And we've got, a few slides left. Thank you so much, my dear. Onion syrup was for the cough, yeah, and to break down the mucus, that's, it's quite thick and sometimes hard to blow your nose or. The flu bomb will also make decongest your sinuses, definitely. So this one, the onion, and if you've got a very bad cough, you might also want to use an onion poultice. You put it on your feet. You know that one? No, you don't want to know that one. The quiz. Unfortunately, I wish everybody would see. I'm going to put it at the front again. And I'm going to stand this side. What are the ways in which we can improve our blood flow? A, exercise/movement. B, dry brushing. C, contrast shower. That's the answer. I will show you.
But I do have issues with sensory issues.
Sensory issues.
Yeah.
So the contrast shower shouldn't be extreme. Actually, you should have like a hot, comfortable hot, and cold, comfortable cold. It shouldn't be like completely shocking your system. No, no, no. But it's very good at, again, stimulating the blood flow. And also, even when you start feeling like you're getting a little bit under the weather, just doing that will already immediately make you feel better. Because again, increase in the blood flow will help to increase the responses of the immune system and start, making effective attacks on these invaders. So what you do is you get into the shower, 2 minutes, we just warm up. And then after that, for 3 minutes, you get to the comfortable, as hot as you can get, but still being comfortable. 3 minutes, making sure that it covers all, your whole body. And then you start switching it to the cold one. You can do it gradually. You don't have to abruptly, plunge yourself in the cold, but do it gradually and get until you can be comfortable cold. And then you alternate this 3 or 5 times. If you're just starting, do it 3 times. Maybe do it once. Remember the tips at the beginning, the habit change? Maybe you need to make it very small, like a 1% improvement. For you would be just once. 3 minutes hot, 2 minutes, or 3 minutes hot, 1 minute cold, and then that's it. And you always finish with the cold, because that will close the blood vessels in a healthy way. It will prevent you from losing the heat. Try it, let me know. Wilson?
Well, it actually helps to let your blood then warm your body up if you finish with cold in a healthy way. So when you finish with cold,
It warms your body up, because when you finish with cold,
your blood is the one that
your blood,
warm your body
exactly. Your body starts warming you up because it feels cold, so the blood is going to flow where it needs to flow to warm you up. Yes?
And the same thing that happens with the dry brushing.
Yeah?
And then also do rigorous towel drying.
Rigorous towel drying.
Yes.
Instead of not...
Instead, I'm just saying after the hot and cold, if you then really...
after hot and cold,
yes.
vigorously rubbing your body with a towel. So it has a similar effect to the dry brushing. Thank you. That's a great tip. Those who don't have maybe don't want to buy one of these, can use a towel. And the water, of course. When we don't drink enough water, then our blood cells start to clump up. And then they're not effectively carrying the oxygen through the body or the nutrients. And that's where the congestion happens. So the water actually helps to make sure that we've got a good blood flow. How much water do we need? Well, depends on your weight. 1 ounce of water for 2 pounds of weight. Or, which means basically you halve your weight. Is it correct? If you halve your weight, that's how many ounces. Yeah, if you halve your weight, that's how many ounces of water you need. Or, if you're using metric measurement, then 30 mils of water per kilogram of weight. For example, I need 1,800 milliliters, so 1 liter, 800 mils. You can reverse calculate my weight then. So just less than 2 liters.
I struggle with simple sometimes. So let's say someone's 50.
50.
30 times. Oh yeah, got you. 30
Yeah,
times.
1.5 liters of water.
But I've heard of drowning. You know, when people can drink too much and drown, that some people say too much is not good for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I
gave a kidney once to somebody, so I have just one kidney. And then the doctors told me that I have to drink 3 liters of water at least to keep my only kidney to pick up the work, you know.
Yeah.
And the doctors told me, you can do that forever, the 3 liters of water. And not have to, I can do it, but at least for the first 6 months I have to do that to make my kidney work properly, you know, and pick up the work.
Yeah.
And actually I did it for years. And so 3 liters, so 1.8 is nothing comparing the 3 liters, you know. And I was a taxi driver, can you imagine, all day long in the taxi. So I was just drinking and looking for all the people at petrol station, you know, or a bush. But the point, finally, I would like to say that, you know, that in my whole life, I had a headache all the time. Even in my childhood, had lots of headaches. But I was about 45, sorry.
No, it's microphone.
Yeah, I was about 45 when this happened, this transplant. And I started drinking the 3 liters of water a day, and still I drink a lot. And that was more than 10 years ago. I never had a headache. And until in my whole life, I was thinking, maybe I took breakfast too early, or too much breakfast, or too little, or I missed my breakfast. I never knew what caused my headache, you know. And now I am weaker, one kidney weaker, yet no headache forever. Can you imagine?
So you
And-
think
The water was too much.
And you have to start, maybe I would advise everybody to start with the 3 liters. Maybe it seems too much at the beginning, but actually that's what it results. It takes away your headaches forever, if you stick to it, of course. And in the past life, I drank only when I was thirsty. Now I drink
And it's
regularly.
actually a good point. When we are not used to drinking water, we don't have thirst as much. When we start drinking more water, then we will be more thirsty when we don't. Because I noticed that didn't used to drink water at all. Like only when I was thirsty, exercised, and now I'm drinking more water and I feel my mouth gets dry. Immediately I'm already kind of, you know, where's my, like leaning towards stretching my hand. Where's my, almost ran out, you know. So we become more attuned when we drink more water to the thirst cues. And of course, when the body is bigger, then it needs more, it's got more blood vessels, it needs more water to cover all that area. And the headaches could have been caused because there's the oxygen. Those red blood cells, they become so clumped together, they don't have the surface area to carry the oxygen when they're dehydrated. So it easily could have caused headache, fatigue, and weakness in the body. Yes.
I cycle a lot, and they always said you need to drink before you get thirsty. Always drink before you get thirsty.
See?
That's a good point. That's a good point.
You know, for people that maybe struggle to drink water, some people just don't. It's the colour. Like I used to not like it. I used to have to put a cordial in it, just psychologically.
Yeah.
What about herbal tea? 'Cause it's
Yeah.
still water.
Yeah.
Without, you know, the fennel and the licorice, all that good
Yes,
stuff.
of
Not just the strawberry flavoured, I mean the real.
Of course.
Still drinking water.
It's much better.
Even if it was cold.
Yes,
still
yes.
flavour. Okay.
Yes, of course.
Just one more thing. Also, I heard, and I kept to this, that is myself, that if you drink caffeine, let's say you drink 2 liters of water, if you drink in it 2 big mugs of coffee, that means you drank only 1 liter of water. Because that caffeine will drive the water out of your body.
Caffeine's not.
So caffeine makes you need more water. So
Yes.
if you drink coffee or Coca-Cola, you need to drink another liter every day, because otherwise you will be still dry or dehydrated.
Yeah, and caffeine also draws out minerals from your body because it's so acidic, it needs to neutralize the acid. So it draws the alkalizing minerals from your bones, like calcium and others.
Yeah, do you
Laurel?
find that you crave more water during the summer months though?
Of course, when we're perspiring more, absolutely, we will need to increase the intake of water. Yes, absolutely.
There is a lot of controversy about coffee, because a lot of doctors now say that actually 2 cups a day is actually quite good for you. Or tea.
Yep.
They say the same about wine.
They say the same about wine. That's what Wilson said. Yeah, there are a lot of controversies. So what I like to do is I like to read both sides and always make a decision on what makes more sense. Read both sides and make your own decision. Also, you can always test it on your body, whether you will feel the difference. Like we are our own guinea pigs, right? Let's go through these 2 remaining slides quickly, and then we can have enjoy the soup and socialize with each other. The sunlight and the fresh air, why they are important for our immune system. Well, the sunlight is the only way we can get enough vitamin D. And vitamin D is very important for immune function. Actually, it regulates all of the immune cell functions in the body. It also creates antimicrobial properties that our body releases when it fights with bacteria or viruses. So what is recommended, we are now still in the winter season up until March approximately, so we will not get enough sunlight, of course. The sun is too far away from the earth to get the benefits of the sun. And you know you're getting the benefits when you start feeling the warmth on your skin, the warmth of the sun. That's when you're starting getting the benefits. When it's too far away, it's too cold. So we need to take, well, the NHS recommends a minimum, and it's a maintenance dose. It's a dose to prevent deficiency, not really an optimal one. It's 400 international units daily of supplementation of vitamin D. But the optimum dose is considered to be about from 1,000 to 2,000 international units. Yes, over there.
I suspect that's mostly for the white people.
Thank you.
I was just about to say, you can see it on the other side, darker skinned people,
So because
it's true.
Because when you go into the sunshine, I mean, if you go into the sunshine, maybe about 6 times more than you to get the same amount.
So the person with the darker skin needs 6 times more. That's what Wilson is saying. 6 times more? No?
No, they're saying if I go into the sunshine, I may have to go up to 6 times more.
Up to 6 times more.
It's not unheard of when people take about 6,000, 8,000 units.
Yeah.
It's not unheard of. It's quite common.
Yes, this is supplement. So yes, it's true, and I do have it on my slide.
This one thinking, why are we not going yet?
Yes, because it sort of goes from April to September and then October to March. So we are just finishing our winter season, and then we are starting soon the sun season. And yes, it says here, darker skin may need a longer time in the sun. So when we're going to get into the summer season, if the lighter skin people need from 10 to 20 minutes, well, I don't know, maybe the darker skin would need 20 to 40 minutes of sunlight. And this is without sunscreen.
I was going to say,
Without.
by saying no sunscreen, do you mean it shouldn't be used?
No, it's only to get the benefits of the sun so that your body can produce vitamin D for the first 10 to 20 minutes or 20 to 40 minutes, depending on the color of your skin. You shouldn't use a sunscreen. And then afterwards, if you're... And afterwards, this is because it prevents it blocks those UV lights that we need. And then afterwards, you put the sunscreen. But make sure you choose the one that does not have harmful chemicals, because there are a lot of them, especially the cheapest ones, and even the expensive ones might contain. Maybe do some research. Holland Barrett might sell the ones that don't have harsh chemicals, because you don't want to put something with harsh chemicals that's going to be heated right on your skin. Because then the sunscreen, which is meant to prevent cancer of the skin, can actually cause it. So we have to be careful. Might prevent you from burning, but not from cancer.
I mean, the other thing, I know science isn't black and white,
Yeah.
but a lot of doctors are now saying that supplements, all they do is colour your urine.
Well,
they're not actually doing anything.
Well, this one is like one of the few supplements that is actually recommended, because we cannot get enough sunlight, enough vitamin D from food, nor can we get from the sun in wintertime. This is the one that they definitely agree that in the UK especially we need to take. And for those who are not consuming any animal foods, but I would argue even those who do consume animal foods, B12 is still important, because not all of us can effectively produce it in our guts, because not all of us have the healthy microbiome. Otherwise, we would be able to produce B12, just like cow is able to produce B12. How come it has got it in its meat?
Sorry, one last question.
Yeah?
I've got one of those things on your bedside that produces artificial. Are they any good?
You've got what by your bedside?
It's like a lamp.
A lamp.
That produces, supposed to simulate. Simulate sun.
A salt lamp. To be honest, I don't know much about that.
In a salt lamp, or do you like a crystal?
No, it's white. It simulates
Oh, it's
sun.
for the SAD.
Yeah.
I personally just think turn the lights on. That's just me, though.
It's all right. Yeah, I know what I do.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't know much about. I know that some people have these reflector lights for the morning, just to get the benefit of the morning sun for the circadian rhythm. But I don't know much about this one. But another important factor is the fresh air. Again, to help us get the oxygen that we need to go out, of course, breathe the fresh air, but also we need to make sure that we ventilate our rooms, aerate our rooms in the morning, but better yet, if we leave a small hole, in the window open throughout the night. Because especially if we are staying in a small room, two individuals sometimes sleeping in one room, we excrete a lot of stuff that we wouldn't want to inhale. And so we need to make sure there is always circulation going on. I mean carbon dioxide and the toxins. Carbon dioxide and the toxins that actually our lungs, they expel like 70% of the toxins from our system. So they're doing a great job. And we don't want to inhale, recirculate that. So make sure you aerate your room very well, even before you go to bed. I know it's hard because it's cold, but it's even better because it might be one of those things that prevents you from getting cold, because you're not inhaling all of these toxins and you've got fresh oxygen coming through. And of course, we've talked about smoking, obviously not inhaling something that is so toxic, not only cigarettes, but also now we've got vapes with all of the flavorings. It's just probably the chemicals we were discussing previously. And not inhaling or being in a room which has got mold. Mold spores are very toxic to our system. So if you found or noticed there is mold, please deal with it quickly, because it can cause a lot of damage in the body. And finally, rest. We've come to the end of the presentation. Why is rest important and why we should learn to manage our stress? Because when we are stressed, then our body prioritizes fight or flight response. And the immune system response, the protective one, goes kind of quiet, because it's more important to run away from the bear that is running after you than it is to fight an infection at that moment in time. So when your level of cortisol is high, that's when the immune system stays low. So we don't have any bears running around in the town. I hope you didn't see anyone. But we have a lot of like work-related stress. We've got a colleague who's quite annoying, or we've got a spouse that may be causing a lot of disturbance. And these are the modern time bears, so to speak, and we need to learn to deal with them. So how do we do that? Because otherwise, if our immune system is down or if our stress levels are up all the time, then over time, we will be more prone to infections. So rest daily. If you've got a very stressful job, take a break every hour for 10 to 15 minutes if possible. If you are at the computer all the time, also take a break from work. Have a short nap if you need to, or have a clear finishing time. Because sometimes we want to keep going. I'm like that. So I've set myself by 7 p.m., I am not checking anything. So if you see me on WhatsApp after 7 p.m., hold me accountable. I'm not going to check my phone. Not recently, because I was preparing for the presentation, but generally I've set myself 7 p.m. I need to have like complete shutdown, not checking anything, and just resting. And then have a weekly rest, once a week when you don't have to worry about anything. No work, no home chores, no shopping, no nothing. Here, we at Seventh-day Adventist Church keep a weekly rest, which is called Sabbath rest. When we do exactly that, we come and we sing and we pray and we have lunch together. We don't work, we don't shop, we don't do home chores. This is a day when we're resting completely.
It's called retirement.
COVID time. So you can also choose your day when you don't do anything, because once a week, every one of us just need to shut down, so to speak. And there are some strategies you can do for de-stressing. Remember, we've talked about the importance of sunlight and fresh air and exercise. You can combine all of them three into a simple walk outside in nature. We've got Avenham Park near the church. I found a person near a few steps from my house, a neighbor, and we started walking together. During lunch break, we go for a walk. That will calm down. That will have a calming effect on your body because of fresh air, oxygen, blood flow from walking, and sunlight. Yes, absolutely. Also good for your mental health. And we haven't even touched about the connection of microbiome with mental health, but this might be something that I will include in the future presentations when we talk about mental health in general. Very important. All the things that we've mentioned will be also beneficial for mental health. And then breathing exercise. So one exercise I want you to learn today. When you feel like you are on edge, slightly on edge. What you need to do is to breathe in at the count of 4, hold for the count of 4, and breathe out for the count of 4. Let's try it together. Breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 1, 2, 3. No, breathe in through your nose, by the way. Yeah, breathe in through your nose. Let's start together. One more time. So breathe in at the count of 4, hold for a count of 4, breathe out for the count of 4. And you will, after you've done it several times, as many times as you need to calm your system down, you will feel much immediately it does that. And of course, it's important to sleep at least 8 or 9 hours, depending on 8 to 9 hours. Why everybody is laughing? 8 to 9 hours.
As you get older, you need less.
No. That's a myth. That's a myth. That's a myth. That's a myth. Oh my days. Oh my days.
How about like naps? I see naps. Where do you take a nap if you're doing your shopping? Like
8 to 9. 8 to 9 hours. So I'm sorry to say it, but people who are chronically having less sleep are more prone to infections. It's been studied, it's been proven. So even though you feel like maybe if there is something that's bothering you, you're not able to sleep throughout the night, might need to be addressed. You know, I have in my previous presentation, I have talked more at length on the sleep, but I think it requires its own separate presentation. But yeah, if you are struggling, read the book Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker. It will be an eye-opener. By the way, also people who have disrupted cycle, what is it called? Like a sleep cycle, when they have to work, for example, at night. In Denmark, they have this shift work. In Denmark, they have a knowledge, this is like so proven, that they've started paying compensation to female shift workers who have developed cancer because of how directly linked it was, the shift work, with the people being more prone to developing cancer. Yes, Olsen?
So firstly, maybe the best idea is to move to Denmark.
I moved to Denmark.
And then secondly, I think that there are long-term issues as well. And it's difficult. 8 to 9 hours is kind of difficult for a lot of people because of multiple things. I think part of it is phones, or the light that comes from phones.
The lights
And
from the
maybe
phone, yeah.
Radiation as well, maybe from this phone and stuff like that. You know. But I think we should still try to, because people who frequently sleep less than 8 hours have a higher risk of having types of dementia.
Yes,
So
yeah.
Alzheimer's and the other ones. The reason being, just as much as our bodies have got lymph nodes,
Yes, our body has got lymphatic system, which needs to be cleansed
it's called
during the
lymph nodes.
lymphatic, yeah.
Lymphatic system.
Yes.
So, not lymph node, but lymphatic system. So, if we sleep less, they get cleaned up less.
Yes,
And
it's
it
true.
affects, the brain. So,
Yes, so I'll just repeat for the audience behind the screens that our brain has got a lymphatic system. Like our body has got lymphatic system, it uses it to cleanse the brain. And when we don't sleep enough, that cleansing doesn't happen as much as it should. Also, the storage of the memories doesn't happen when we don't have enough REM sleep, which is the rapid eye movement cycle of the sleep. And we usually don't get enough of it when we don't sleep enough. And the best sleep is if we go to bed before midnight. Yes, this is there is a the cause and effect in terms of developing dementia and even Parkinson's. Unfortunately, some people have REM sleep disorder, which is sad, but hopefully there will be some medicine available for these individuals. So, yes, 8 to 9. If you need to be persuaded, there are so many reasons why to sleep more. The book Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker is a great one.
But it doesn't, I mean, I don't sleep that long at night, but if I'm tired, it's a nap during the day.
Yeah,
So
well,
I will-
it will count.
Yeah.
It will count towards it. Of course, it's better to have all of it during the night, but in that book, he does mention that a lot of people who were boasting that they were sleeping so few hours actually were napping during the day. So they were getting that extra sleep during the day.
I think your phone's quite a big issue.
The phone, of course. Yeah, it's hard.
At night. I turn mine off and I feel a lot better and I sleep better.
Absolutely. Pastor, did you want to say something? Liz?
We were talking about, it's been said that sleeping an hour before midnight equates to 2 hours after midnight. So if we can do 2 hours before midnight,
Yeah.
we're already cashing 4 hours. So we can do 4 hours after midnight and it will still be able to.
But it doesn't actually give you the 2 hours before midnight. Will not make you it doesn't mean that you will need to sleep less overall. The benefits of it are much higher sleeping before midnight because a lot of times when people go to bed, for example, those who go to bed very late, for example, around, was it 2 or something? That's when your body is doing all of this cleaning up. So if you haven't been asleep at that time, when are you gonna have that effect of cleaning up? So yes, so it's important to go to bed before midnight. Anyone else? Anyone else? Oh, sorry.
I'm going to have to say world issue is the invention of nighttime working, because the world isn't sleeping. So let's just say in England, isn't sleeping at the same time. So that
Yeah.
the earth isn't getting the rest. I mean, the actual natural, and imagine that rhythm of everybody sleeping at the same time.
At the same time,
I mean,
yeah.
Let's go back to what's it called, the COVID, the 2020. Personally, I loved that first lockdown because the streets were like heaven. I don't know what happens like.
The air is good though.
The air was good. Because, and if we could have night shift,
Yeah.
first of all, people will congregate more because that was the. Going back to it messes the rhythm up, and it does. You just said like the body wants to fix and heal and rest at 2 a.m., 1 a.m. These hours. If you're working, people are taking caffeine to stay awake, and it's just.
Yeah, so I will repeat. Is it Crystal? Crystal just said that she wishes that everybody would be sleeping at the same time and there would be the whole world and there would be no shift work as such. Yeah. Are there any questions from the Mark, are there any questions from the audience who are watching us? No, okay, no problem. Well, in any case, they can always come to me directly if they need to ask any. Pastor, finally, you can ask your question.
I mean, even from childhood, I just could not fall asleep early. I went to bed early, but I'd be quite happy till 11 or even
Yeah.
later. And that stayed with me. By the way, my mom is very much the same. She can go after midnight, but then she clocks the hours, and she does. So I have the same thing, work
Till midnight, yeah.
very late. As some of you know, when 2 a.m. message. But then I clock it a little bit later. I know I don't just clock 8 hours, by the way. But is it possible that some of us may have slightly shifted rhythm, this circadian rhythm? Just
Shifted in terms of,
so it's basically that
like, are you saying that you need less sleep?
I almost fall asleep at the time when everybody says I should.
Ah,
By the way, my son is exactly the same. We try to get him to bed early, don't do what I'm doing, you know, things like that. But he himself says, I just cannot fall asleep. But comes, you know, later hours, comes naturally. So I'm just asking whether we are really all the same, or whether it might be possible that some of us are different.
no, there are different types indeed, and I won't be able to give you a fresh information because the book that I've read was quite a while ago. But there are different types, people who fall asleep at different times. But I think at this moment, the advice I would give, as long as you get 8 hours, it's better than getting less. But I will get back to you on the issue whether you should shift toward earlier sleeping or it's fine. Well, we've already said that 2 hours before midnight is best and after, but we'll talk about that more. Okay, just before you carry on, can we start? Yep, thank you. Would you be able to help me with that? Thank you so much. We're just going to start setting up the table with the soup and the bread roll, so I just wanted to give a heads up to Danny.
Thank you very much. It's very good.
No worries.
Thank you.
No. We've got 2 more questions or comments. Wilson?
No, so the other one to help the question that Pastor put, the time we do things during the day can affect our circadian rhythm. So if you eat late, that means you digest late.
Yes.
And then that means that will disturb your...
If you eat late, then it will disturb you.
I'm not saying it because the food is coming.
So I have, in the previous presentation, I've talked more about food and the effect on the sleep. And also sometimes what we do in the evening might be very stimulating. If it's work, I know from my own experience, planning things, working out things is not the best in the evening, because then I will start having more ideas. Oh, how exciting this is, and I need to finish that. And your brain is now completely like, it's like a hamster in a wheel. How easy it's going to be to stop it. So I tend to have like the thinking, processing things in the morning, and then winding down for the evening and having more relaxing tasks. And if you need something, you can even leave the relaxing home chores for the evening time, for example, folding the laundry or washing the dishes, something that does not involve any screen. Brushing your teeth, taking a shower. Say again, the tapes?
Yeah, like the tapes to go through the breathing.
I always listen to something.
Yeah, something to listen to before you sleep.
Well, thank you so much. And this is the last. Daniel?
If you remember, I lived my hand there.
Oh, yes. Yes, of course. Please carry on.
But maybe he's gone now, I don't know. But anyway, I get up 4 o'clock every morning. I'm very tired at 7 and 8. I'm ready to go to bed at 8, and I easily go to sleep because I get up at 4. Obviously, if somebody has a...
Are you still taxi driving?
My colleague finishes then. I have other things to do during the day, so I have to work for the money first, and then I can do other things. So the pastor said that if somebody has a different life